What's going on, my people? I want to thank everyone for participating in my last narrated video where I addressed some lies about Starfield. And today we're going to go over some comments that people made in that video. I got more than I anticipated. Like I said, the video did okay, especially for my small channel. And I want to thank everyone for participating. But like I said, I got some very interesting, to say the least, responses from some people. You know, as I'm sure you guys aren't surprised to know that some Starfield haters showed up on the video. Now, again, like the other video, I want to make it clear. If you genuinely don't like Starfield, as you genuinely don't like any other game, that's totally fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Also, no one is saying that Starfield is perfect because, first of all, there is no perfect game. Most of the people that I know that have the best criticisms of Starfield are people who actually love Starfield. I'm one of them. I have some criticisms of Starfield. In fact, if I can remember it, because I kind of do these videos on the fly, I'm actually going to tell you at least one criticism that I have to give you an example of what kind of criticisms that people like me who love Starfield, what kind of criticisms that we have for the game. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into some of these comments. Like I said, they're pretty interesting. So again, I'm not going to show any names. I'm not going to do that. That's not the purpose here. A lot of this stuff is copy and paste, as you'll see as we go through. A lot of these you know, what's funny is, the irony is how they talk about how Starfield is copy and paste, but a lot of their comments is copy and paste. You know, I mean, it just seems to be written from the same script, and then every now and then somebody, I have those common sense to kind of scramble the words up a little bit, but it's still some of the same talking points or whatever. It's really, really interesting. So here we go. So here's one comment. How can you say the game is fun when it takes 100 mods to make it fun? I can make anything fun with 100 mods. This game is boring. End of. I guess he meant to say end of story or end of debate or whatever. Every mission wasted my time. Every conversation I had to fly to could have been a phone call on the way to my objective. It's a science fiction. Why do I need to meet everyone in person? The exploration is worse than even any of their other games. So we're going to stop right there. Okay, but one last thing that he said that made it was a little coherent was, mods don't mean the game is good. So the rest of this comment is absolute nonsense and it's not important. Okay, so I guess a lot of these people are really butthurt over the fact that people are really enjoying these mods, and these mods are doing a lot better than I guess they hoped. You remember people was trying to say that modders weren't going to mod for the game, and that Bethesda was going to cancel the mods because so many modders were walking away and they're not going to be any mods available. And then all of a sudden the mod store, the creation store opened and it started raining mods and people were scooping up mods. And the best thing about the creation store is that a lot of the mods that's on there, some of the best ones, most of the ones that I have that are the best, they're free. So, but you know, look, the hundreds and thousands of hours that people was playing this game, the multiple times that people was playing this game when the game first came out, that was long before the mods even came out. The mods came out like, I think it was like probably like 6 or 7 months after the game was released. And in terms of exploration, the game was designed to make the player explore places and visit various locations. Look, man, the inability to communicate with other characters by not making a phone call from space, think about that, what you will. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. They want you to go to these locations. They want you to, they don't want you to have a radio to communicate with anybody. They're purposely designing the game like that so that you have to go. They want you to explore. They don't just want you to explore in your ship. They want you to go to various places, and then they want you to get out of the ship, and then they want you to, you know, it's more than just about flying to somewhere. It's more than that. They want you to go. They want you to take your ship there. They want you to land. They want you to get out of the ship. They want you to explore the areas, especially the towns. They want you to talk to different people. There's all sorts of side quests that's buried in some of these places. When you go into Neon City, I went to Neon City and stayed in Neon City so long, I forgot about the rest of the game, actually. It was so much to do in Neon City. And there's proof of that. I'm going to put some videos, some of my old videos down in the bottom. I'm not just sitting here just talking smack and just making up things. Also, this guy sits here and he lauds all the other Bethesda games and talk about how great they are, and he puts them on this pedestal. There was no ability to make phone calls in any of those games. I mean, especially like if you go back to like Skyrim and all that, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to go to the location. They didn't give you a carrier pigeon. They had carrier pigeons back then. And then on top of that, it's a fantasy game. So they could have given him, that could have been like a power where he had like a carrier pigeon companion or something, or just a bird companion that could have flew off somewhere and sent a message. And then he could have came back with a written message from the other character. This is ridiculous, man. I mean, you're sitting here and you're praising these other games, but these other games did not have a way for you to talk to somebody. Like you're out here, you're going out exploring. You looked at the objective and you had to go to the objective. Now, maybe I missed something. Maybe the Fallout series did have a radio. Maybe they did have a telephone. I don't know, man. I mean, this is not an uncommon thing, and it just amazes me the way people like him make these kind of comments, and it's almost like they're not even really thinking about what they're saying. And why is that? It's because all of this is coming from some sort of emotion. These people are angry. They're angry that they wanted to like the game. I believe some of them they actually wanted to like it, but because the game was not for them, they're acting like petulant children. I mean, this is really, really petulant. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, he may not be overall like a person that acts like a petulant child, but when it comes to this particular thing, there's obviously some sort of emotional drama going on here, because this is typically what happens when people are upset. They tend to jabber on and say things almost like they're really not thinking about what they're saying. Okay, here's another one. I owned only a PlayStation since the PlayStation 1. When Microsoft bought Bethesda, I got a Series X in preparation for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Skyrim was my favorite game of all time for the longest time. I bought it day one and loved Oblivion before that. Starfield is hot garbage. It's such a weak showing from Bethesda. That game made me lose all faith in Bethesda. I was dealing with Fallout 4 not being great and chalked it up to a miss. I now have no faith for Elder Scrolls 6. They're so stuck in the past. RPGs have evolved leaps and bounds past Starfield. I mean, yeah, premature expectations it can do that. But no one told you that Starfield was going to make you feel like those other games did. Take some responsibility for your obvious lack of discipline when it comes to video games. FOMO is one thing, pre-ordering games is another thing. But you spent hundreds of dollars on a gaming console, and I'm assuming if you did all that, you probably pre-ordered the games. I think that's a safe assumption before watching any gameplay because of your own assumptions. Bethesda did not tell you to assume anything. That's something that you have to take responsibility for yourself. That's a you thing, not a Bethesda thing. I mean, while Bethesda may have a lot of faults, this most definitely isn't one of them. They had nothing. Bethesda did their job. They promoted their product. That's what they're supposed to do. You're the consumer. You're the one that goes out and work for your dollars. Bethesda didn't tell you to go out and buy an Xbox before doing research on the game and making sure the game was going to be what you wanted it to be. You should have waited. The game was there. It was available for you to buy as soon as you felt comfortable buying it. So the fact that you went out and obviously spent all this money on games that, even if you want to look at the Elder Scrolls 6, it doesn't matter what their pedigree is. You still had no idea what that game is going to be like. You have no idea. For all you know, it could suck. You have no idea. But you went out and paid hundreds of dollars for 2 games. And that's totally fine if you do that. But if your bet didn't pay off, don't blame other people. That's like going to the casino and being mad with your friend that you went to the casino with because he won money and you didn't win money. So you look over and you see other people enjoying Starfield and you're mad because they won, because they got a game that they like, a game that they love, a game that they're enjoying, and you're feeling a little bit pissed about it. But that's not normal, man. You need to just get over it. In fact, if you feel the way that you feel, if you feel the way you say you feel about Starfield, you shouldn't even clicked on this video, really. Okay, we have another one here that I actually responded to. The problem for me with Starfield and the Outer Worlds is that they decided to take out one of the main things that makes space stories so unique and full of life. No aliens. No aliens was such a massive mistake for both games. All the quests and characters and lore that could have been added to make these star systems feel full of life. Having something like that could have done so much towards making you want to explore and discover, making you feel like you aren't alone in this vast universe. And that's the whole idea anyway. Starfield is supposed to be, at times, a lonely game. But anyway, we'll take a look at my response here. Okay, I couldn't find my answer, but it's no big deal because it wasn't long and drawn out. I just went, straight to the subject. And I told him, I said, look, I assume you're talking about sentient aliens, which sentient aliens, for anyone who doesn't know, that's like conscious aliens, aliens that are intelligent, more humanoid-like, like a lot of the crew members that you see in Mass Effect or whatnot. But I told him it's incorrect to say that they took them out. I mean, this is the sort of statement that makes it seem like this is just a passive-aggressive way to attack the game. I mean, why would you say that they took something out? They didn't take anything out. It was never in there in the first place. I mean, you look at shows like The Expanse. This is a highly awarded show. There are no sentient aliens in The Expanse yet. But it's not that they took it out. It just was in there, Lost in Space. There's no sentient aliens in Lost in Space. There's no humanoid aliens in Lost in Space. And by the way, there are aliens in Starfield, by the way. They just aren't sentient aliens. Yeah, to say that they took it out, it just makes it seem like you're saying that that something good was there and then they cheapened it and then they took it out. I mean, EVE Online, the video game, space game, it doesn't have sentient aliens. Star Citizen doesn't have sentient aliens. One of my favorite games, Elite Dangerous, doesn't have sentient aliens. These are people who went out into the vastness of space. They went in different directions. They left the Earth and went out into space in different directions. That's how a lot of them ended up forming different types of societies, right? They didn't all leave together. There was not this one big Earth plan where all the governments got together and decided how they were going to move all of their people in the same direction. People went in different directions. So they're out there in the vastness of space looking for answers. That's supposed to be a part of the lore. They're looking for answers. So who knows what they're going to run into in the future. So this is about looking for answers. And 5 years from now, this story is going to develop a lot more and there's going to be a lot more to the game. Maybe by then there will be sentient aliens. Who knows? But it's incorrect to say that they took it out because it was never in there in the first place. Another thing is, one common thing that they keep, like I said, a lot of these comments are copy and paste. They keep referring to Starfield as like this boring game. Starfield is anything but boring. Now, I will admit, you have to be a person who loves exploring. You have to be a person who loves the journey. I love to like be out on foot. I love to hump it. Like, even though I have a vehicle now, when I'm not recording, I prefer to hump somewhere. Like if I land my ship somewhere, I prefer to walk around. But when I'm recording a video, for the sake of the viewers, to make things go a little faster, I just go ahead and I jump in the vehicle. But you have to like that kind of thing to like Starfield. Now, it's not so bad. A lot of people love the vehicles and I use them every now and then. But yeah, Starfield is just not a game that's going to just automatically funnel you into actions or things of interest. You have to be interested in the world. It's like those of us who love Starfield, like we love the barren planets, man. We love the views. We love that people are taking pictures in some of these groups. And by the way, talking about groups, by the way, I'm starting to promote my group. I started a group a long time ago, but I just never promoted it. I'm going to put a link to my group down in the bottom because one of the things I noticed about some of these groups, they're filled with people who hate Starfield. There's Starfield groups on Facebook, but this is weird. They're strange. The people, you know what's really weird, kind of suspect? The people who start the groups, they let the Starfield haters stay there. That is so strange. That is so weird, and people call it out. But anyway, these people post pictures of their ships. They post pictures of being on, different planets, these beautiful sceneries and all of that. You have to be into all of that. That's what Starfield is. That's a large part of what it's about. Being in awe of the view, your surroundings, and where you are, right? But it also has epic moments. And if you have a little patience, I'm going to show you some of those epic moments. They have moments that are just action-packed, have had me on the edge of my seat, and also they have a little bit of Resident Evil in here as well, which you're going to see. So I picked a couple of the most dramatic moments just as a demonstration, because we're not going to be here all day, and I am going to put the videos down in the bottom that these clips came from. So if you're interested in watching the whole thing, please feel free to do so. One of them comes from the DLC and the other one comes from just the vanilla game. So the first one comes from the vanilla game and the second one comes from the DLC. And to be perfectly honest with you, I have yet to pick the third one. I'm going to pick the third one and put that in there as well. Oh, and also, I think the third, what I'm going to do? I'm going to make the third clip that I'm going to show you, because people are like, there's no random encounters. That's another point that was made. There's no random encounters. In Starfield, there are random encounters that you may not even notice if you don't stop. You hear these conversations, you have to stop and walk over to the conversation in order to catch a story, right? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. For the third clip, I'm going to show that where I went to this encampment, and that's another thing too. Somebody was saying, oh, there's no encampments or anything like that to visit, and it's just ridiculous, man. These people are just saying things that just make you wonder, man. Did you even play the game? But anyway, like I said, 2 epic clips, and then I'm going to show another clip of a random encounter that's just an example. Starfield is full of those kinds of encounters. You know what, as I was sitting here talking, I actually was going through some of my old videos. Actually, for that last example, that random encounter, we're going to go to one of my favorite settlements. So that's what we're going to do. It also had I also ran into one of my favorite stories, and it's a prime example of what I'm talking about, where I was going there for some random side quest that seemed like it was going to be boring. And I ended up running into what you're going to see in the clip. So after we take a look at those 3 clips, I'm going to show you 2 clips that's going to be in one category. Well, actually 2, horror and creepy. Bethesda does horror and creepy very well in this game. They do it very well. Now, the first clip is going to be from some gameplay. The second clip is going to be from a kind of a mini documentary that I did on the Terrormorph storyline, which to me is the very best Bethesda storyline of all time. If you played it, you probably won't find that so remarkable, even if you don't quite agree. But if you've never played it, you probably are thinking, yeah, guy, you're pretty much full of it. There's no way that there's anything in Starfield that can be categorized as the best storyline that Bethesda ever did of all time. But trust me, to my opinion, it is.
Stand clear.
Definitely want to get through this door right here. Oh man. Yeah, that looks like a loot box up there. I can barely see it though because of the sun's glare. Oh, it also looked like one of those Swarm Sisters sitting up there right next to the loot box. So yeah, we need to get in there. There's probably some goodies in there. So probably want to get over there, get up there. There's probably some kind of control room or something, and then work our way through this little hallway right here. All right, this is our hallway. And we already know that that room over there is infested with those things. So let's use this hallway as a little kill box. We see if we can get them to come out instead of us going in, because if we go in,
pleasure. Take your time.
if we go in, we are definitely dead. We will not survive. These things, oh, listen to that.
Got him. Come out. Oh, I'm hit.
Sorry about that. Oh. There we go. Sorry, Sarah. Ah!
I'm hit.
I got you. Woo! Oh, look at that thing, man.
Whoever laid claim to this place seems to be long gone. My God, look at it. A Lazarus in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only. What's happening? Have you seen this?
talk. Hold it right there. Hands where I can see them.
Thanks for the assist out there.
We've got various problems on our hands here. You gonna be another one?
Let's we're gonna walk around, so maybe I'll run into this mission. But primarily what I'm here for is to purchase that ship. I was doing some research on ships in the game and this one kind of caught my eye. I'm gonna go ahead and exit the ship.
I am not sure rehabilitation can be a valid alternative to incarceration. But I would be happy to be proven wrong.
I've been on this planet before to
No wonder no one will work for you. My man is missing, and you're all just here, what? Waiting for him to wander back through the gate?
okay, this is probably the mission.
Are trying. But we don't have the manpower.
And now half my crew thinks your little band of convicts is just waiting to drag us off and scrap us for organs.
Mr. Halftown, our security officer has been put into the infirmary trying to find your worker.
Before we go any further, let me address something. I know I said that I was going to have a section of the video where I was going to talk about some things where Bethesda could definitely improve. I'm actually going to make an entire video about that particular subject. So we're not going to do that in this video, but we will do it in a video that will be dedicated to that particular subject. All that said, let's move on with the rest of this video. So taking a look at another comment here, this comment was hilarious. The game was pretty good until I reached the point where I've seen everything around 30 hours. So this guy is claiming that he saw everything in 30 hours, which is absolutely ridiculous because first of all, even in the base game, there's no way possible you're going to see everything in 30 hours. And then there's the fact that in New Game Plus, the story changes greatly. So you sound like you didn't even play New Game Plus because you say you only played 30 hours. That's really short for even. So basically what you did was you mainlined the game, but you're saying that you saw everything. I thought that's where the game starts to build up and the gameplay loop starts to bloom out. But there was nothing, no deep mechanics about ships and bases, no faction related narratives. Oh wow, boy, you're really pouring it on. No settlements, okay? The guy said that there's no settlements, but you saw earlier one of the clips where I was at a settlement. So yeah, it's ridiculous. No side missions with story. Wow, okay, you've got balls on you. No random encounters, no surprises, just the same POIs and enemies over and over again. All over again and again and again. So to put it exactly the way he put it. So look, the POIs, they do have a lot of POIs that look the same, but they also have a lot that don't look the same. A lot of people are claiming that all of them look the same. All of them don't look the same. And that is one of the negatives that I throw at them is that I think that they could have done a better job at not having so many settlements that look the same, but they also have a lot that are not the same. They look very different than the others. But I do admit that, yeah, they could have done a better job with the POIs because I think that going forward, that's going to be something that you see less and less of because that in the DLC, that certainly was not the case. All of the POIs in the DLC looked very different. They look absolutely nothing alike. So going forward in Starfield, I don't think that that's going to be an issue. Now, in terms of the outposts and base building, I can tell you straight up, anyone who's watched this channel knows that I can tell you straight up, you're telling a lie right there. I don't even believe that you've played the game. Your entire comment is just like really suspect. So I'm going to put down at the bottom of the video so that people can catch up. But I've basically done a Road to Riches series on base building. And basically the next video that will be coming up will be the last video basically a manufacturing system, and it requires you to build a number of outposts in order to set up a successful network that is producing products that will allow you to sell, and it will give you a very generous income in the game. Now, what you can do, if you want to do it the easy way, you can use one of the there are mods that you can use that will give you all of the resources and funding that you need until you can get it built. And then what you can do is called, I think it's an infinite resource mod or whatever. And then once you get it built, you can turn that infinite resource mod off. And then that the basis, the outpost will still be there, and the products will still be manufactured, and you will still have that very, very generous income. You will truly be, you know how before the game came out, they were saying that, you know, you can take your character and you can make your character extremely rich, and they can come up in society and be among the wealthy and all of that. Well, you will truly be a rich person when it's done. So like I said, I've done numerous videos on outpost building. So you happen to lie about something that, you know, you certainly did not scroll down on my channel and check out any of my videos for you to tell a lie like that. For you to feel comfortable telling a lie like that. So yeah, that's ridiculous right there. Like I said, those links will be down in the bottom, and they will be in their own section, a specific section of videos that I've done just on outpost building. So this guy's talking like it's not very complex, it's not very interesting. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I haven't really gotten into the shipbuilding yet. That's going to come in the future. I'm definitely planning on getting into it. But there are some very, very successful YouTube channels out there that all they do, they only do videos on building ships. So basically, you're just trying to basically imply that all those people that subscribe to that channel, who are loyal followers of those creators who have those channels, you're basically trying to say that your taste is so superior to theirs that you know, you have some sort of royal taste where they have a taste that's equal to that of the peasantry or something, I guess. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous, man. Anyway, let's move on to another comment. This will be the last one, and then we'll end the video. So I found this one to be very interesting because this is very basic, very vanilla, but again, with the mods. So this guy says, I just don't think the game is good if you have mods. Is a good argument. What is he saying here? I don't think the game is good if you have mods is a good argument. So I think what he's trying to say here is that he agrees that the game is good with mods. Okay, yeah, he brings it home with the last statement here. A game that needs mods to be fun is a bad game. So he's saying, yeah, the game might be good now, but it's because of the mods. But again, these people know that this is not true because they know that most of the success of the game came months before the mods even came out. The mods came out about 6 months after the game was first released. People were all up in New Game Plus. People were out here saying, hey, I've played it like 2 and 3 times. And, you know, people out here talking about, you know, how the game changes like each time you play it. So all of that was going on long before the mods came out. So again, we have another disingenuous person making a comment that they know is patently false. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and leave it right there. I'm going to cut it off. You know, I will be making another video about Starfield. Like I said, this is a Starfield centric channel. And lately I've been really just wanting to kick back and just kind of relax and play. But I've gotten back on it, and I'm going to be putting out a few more videos. Like I said, look for those links down in the bottom. Also, look for the Facebook group down there too. And by the way, if you're somebody that thinks you're going to come into the group and drop stink bombs, man, I tell you what, I love blocking people. You will be blocked. So if you love Starfield, you're looking for a place to talk about Starfield where only people who like Starfield is it, because that's the purpose of the group. It's not a matter of censoring. I started the group so that people who like Starfield can have a place to go to and talk about Starfield without being trolled. I mean, it's not that we're trying to shut anybody out. It's not that I don't want to hear other opinions. It's just that we want a forum, or I want a forum. I thought it would be nice to start a forum where like-minded people who love the game, and when they do criticize the game, they're criticizing it out of love. They're giving it constructive criticism, not trolling criticism. So look for that. That'll also be down in the bottom. And hey guys, until next time, stay safe.
Unbelievable! Damn piece of shit is broken again! Yeah, can you buy me a new ship? If not, then stay the hell out of my way. Last thing I need is you breaking it. The main problem is, she's a piece of junk, which would be fine if she wasn't also a raging you-know-what. So if I complain about her speed, she'll just put it in park. That, or she'll start plummeting toward the nearest planet. You know, if I didn't know better, I'd think she was trying to kill me. What are you, rich? Because if you are, my next question is, are you single? I'm not, but I can be for the right price. Guess I'll get back to these repairs.